What's going on, people? Welcome back to VEVE Investments. On today's episode, we're going to be discussing and comparing VEVE to two other collecting brands, more specifically revolving around the promo codes that VEVE has implemented on the VEVE app and how they can use these promo codes with specific pieces that have already dropped on the app. So if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you guys want to see in future episodes. Without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right, so we're going to start off with a brand that some might be familiar with, some not. Now, this was my childhood growing up. I'm a 90s baby, I'm a Gen Z baby, and essentially, for those of you guys who don't know what this brand is you will walk into a physical retail store, you're going to purchase one of these Webkinz or stuffed animals, and on the stuffed animal, they're going to have a code that you redeem on their website that gives you access to a virtual version of the physical. Now, inside of this, Webkinz world, there's games that you can play with your Webkinz. You can connect with other Webkinz people playing. You earn tokens to purchase, furniture for your Webkinz apartment, accessories, wallpapers, windows, everything you can possibly imagine. And you're pretty much taking care of, your Webkinz within this virtual space. Now, when I thought about this, I was like, oh my God, I need to make a video on this because, the way that VEVE can implement their promo codes down the line is, something very similar to how Webkinz operates, and more specifically with the Marvel Mighties that I'm going to talk about later on in this episode. The team's already talked about offering physical versions of the digital in the future. I can definitely see something like this happening down the... I'm not talking about creating like a little apartment for your Spider-Man Marvel Mighty, but what I am saying is that a little kid can walk into a Walmart, whatever retail establishment, and purchase a physical Marvel Mighty, and attached to that Marvel Mighty has a promo code that allows them to redeem a virtual version of this. There's another company I want to discuss here. Some might be more familiar with this one, but it's another collecting brand, and that's going to be Funko Pop. So Funko Pop did it the exact opposite way as Webkinz did. So Webkinz started with the stuffed animals, then they offered the promo codes to redeem the virtual version, whereas Funko Pop is now getting into the NFT space, and they're offering digital animated cards that, when upon claiming, you get the physical Funko Pop of that card. It's another example of what brands are doing and how they can implement the promo codes down the line is, in this case, what you do is you buy a standard or a premium pack during the primary sale, so they have a drop style just like VEVE does. Then what you're going to do is you're going to collect a digital pop of the legendary or grail rarities and become eligible to redeem a rare exclusive physical collectible that matches the digital pop. So what Funko Pop is doing in this case is they are actually pushing more physical collectibles, but through the digital NFTs, right? So you purchase a digital NFT pack and you can get the physical version of the virtual that you get on drop. Now, if you want more, upon completing your royalty collection, or in this case, the full set of the cards in the pack, then you become eligible to receive a limited edition physical collectible figure designed exclusively for the specific release. This reminds me of the most recent Marvel Mighties drop. They clearly stated in the Medium article that if you collect all 6 of them in the set, then you are going to receive an airdrop. And in the exact same case with the Funko Pops here, you collect all the cards in the pack and you are eligible to receive a physical collectible to top the series off, right? And then they also offer redemption tokens that will be issued to your account 120 days after release for any completed royalty collection sets or legendary grail digital pops. Now, this reminds me of just completing full sets on the VEVE app, and you're going to be rewarded with MCP points and rewards in the future. So not too much to discuss there because we don't really fully know how that's all going to work. But you can clearly see similarities. And, obviously David, the CEO of VEVE, he's a huge collector himself. Funko Pop is a wildly successful brand with a rabid fan base. Like, I'll toss some collections on screen right now. There are insanely large Funko Pop collections out there. But I think examples like this only highlights how well David and Dan actually know the collecting space. And then, like I said before earlier on in this video, the Marvel Mighties, in my eyes, have tremendous potential to be replicated in a similar way to the two examples that we just discussed. Again, I'm not talking about building apartments and homes and things like that with furniture, but in terms of the potential applications using the promo code feature, I'm just trying to put myself, back in my own shoes from when I was a kid. And, going back to the Webkinz brand, I had like 30 at least of those. I can just remember the passion as a kid, right? Like walking into the store near me was called Turtle Pond Toys. and I would walk in, pick my Webkinz, take it home, and I would be staring at the code in the car on the way home, and oh my god, I can't wait to build, you know, my first room with him and get him some clothes and so on and so forth. But I'm just trying to put myself back into my own shoes when I was a little kid. And I can see the exact same thing happening here. Walking into a store, somebody picks up a Marvel Mighty, they have a code on it, they take it home, they receive a virtual version of that where they can play around in the VEVE-verse or toss it into AR and so on and so forth. So that's the main reason I wanted to make this video, guys, was really just to highlight the fact that the VEVE team has clearly talked about stuff like this in the past. They've talked about pairing physical versions with digital versions. It would only be an additional revenue stream for their licensors. I mean, I can actually even see this happening with the Murmur as well, because Tokidoki, I did this in a previous video. Can't remember what episode, but it was 4 brands to prepare for Eastern adoption. One of them was Tokidoki, and I was explaining about how, you know, the blind box format is extremely popular over in China. That's how a lot of the Tokidoki merchandise is actually sold. And they have physical versions of the Murmur just like they do the virtual ones. There's huge potential here for additional revenue streams for their licensors, for VEVE themselves, but then also additional ways to onboard new users, specifically children, which is something that Alcon and David and Dan have talked about multiple times in the past as well. So now another thing to consider about something like the Marvel Mighties is Marvel has an insane amount of characters in their portfolio. And of course, there's an extremely small fraction of those on VEVE right now. So they can keep adding series for so long, just like the Funko Pops. And maybe before you know it, we're going to start seeing photos of rooms filled with Marvel Mighties. So I guess we'll have to wait and see where they take these promo codes. But that's something I definitely wanted to address on the channel. And I mean, I guess they can even take this one step further. I'm thinking of brands like McDonald's, right? Like they just introduced the adult Happy Meals. If they had a physical Deadpool Marvel Mighty, or, you know, Captain America, like the ones you guys see on screen here, and those are the toys in the Happy Meals, and then again, they can redeem the promo code for a virtual version to get them on VEVE, onboard another user. The applications here are endless. I can keep talking about this and rambling. I wanted to make the focus of this video Webkinz and Funko Pops, and how a series like the Marvel Mighties or the Murmur on VEVE can be implemented in a very similar way down the line. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure to like and subscribe. That is going to conclude episode 22 for this week. Now, as for episode 23, guys, make sure to tune in on Thursday, where I'm actually going to be providing a continuation to a previous episode of mine, and that's going to be comparing early day Amazon to VEVE. Now, for those who did watch that episode, there is actually a big point that I deliberately meant to leave out, and that's because there's enough points to create a whole separate video on this. And this is going to be affiliate marketing. So how Amazon grew much faster when they introduced their affiliate program, and the potential growth opportunities for a company like VEVE if they choose to implement an affiliate program of their own in the future. So if you guys are interested in learning more about that, make sure to tune in on Thursday, and I'll catch you then.